Hannah Turner was a woman of ambition. She worked as a senior executive at a prestigious marketing firm, but she felt unappreciated and underpaid. Despite her dedication and hard work, she believed that her boss, Richard Harlow, was the main obstacle to her success. As frustration simmered within her, a dangerous idea began to take root in her mind. One rainy evening, as the city lights glistened on the wet streets, Hannah hatched a plan that she believed would change her life. The plan seemed foolproof in her mind, a way to force Richard to acknowledge her value and compensate her accordingly. She rented a cabin in a remote area, ensuring no one would recognize her. She left behind carefully crafted notes that hinted at her abduction, making sure they were discovered at her apartment. The notes demanded a hefty ransom, payable to a secret account. On the day of her disappearance, Hannah left work early, claiming she wasn't feeling well. She went to her rented cabin, leaving her phone behind, and waited for the news to spread. Meanwhile, her colleagues and Richard were growing increasingly concerned as they discovered the notes and tried to reach her. Back in the city, Richard mobilized the company's resources to find Hannah. The police were involved, and news outlets covered the story extensively. Days passed, and the pressure intensified. Richard, unable to endure the uncertainty any longer, decided to meet the ransom demands. He wired a significant amount of money to the specified account, hoping it would lead to Hannah's release. The police were monitoring the transaction, hoping to trace the funds to the kidnappers. As the money was transferred, Hannah felt a mix of relief and anxiety. She had achieved her goal, but the weight of her deception pressed heavily on her. The police traced the ransom to a hidden account, leading them to the cabin where Hannah was hiding. They stormed the cabin, and Hannah's world unraveled. She was arrested, and the truth about her elaborate scheme came to light. The news of her faked kidnapping shocked her colleagues, tarnishing her reputation and leaving a trail of disappointment. The once promising executive now found herself on the brink of ruin, all because of a misguided attempt to force recognition and compensation. In the courtroom, Hannah listened to the charges against her. Regret filled her as she saw the disappointment in the eyes of her former colleagues and Richard. As the judge pronounced her sentence, Hannah couldn't escape the reality of her choices. In the end, she realized that true success couldn't be achieved through deceit, and the price of her actions was far higher than she had ever imagined. Imprisoned behind cold, unforgiving bars, Hannah had ample time to reflect on the choices that had led her to this point. The penitentiary walls seemed to close in on her, echoing the regrets that reverberated through her mind. She missed the freedom she once took for granted, the bustling city life, and the sense of purpose that her job had provided. The routine of prison life became a monotonous backdrop to her thoughts, each day dragging on as she replayed the events that led to her downfall. In the outside world, the fallout from Hannah's actions continued. The media coverage had turned her into a symbol of betrayal and deceit. The marketing firm, once prestigious, faced a tarnished reputation, and Richard Harlow struggled to repair the damage to both the company's image and his personal trust. Weeks turned into months, and Hannah adjusted to the routine of prison life. She attended counseling sessions, reflecting on the root causes of her actions. Slowly, she began to understand the depth of her need for validation and recognition. One day, a prison education program caught Hannah's attention. Eager to channel her remorse into something positive, she enrolled in classes, determined to acquire new skills and knowledge. As she delved into the coursework, she found solace in learning and a sense of purpose that transcended her past mistakes. It was finally time for her to leave. As Hannah left the prison, the weight of her past actions still hung heavy, but a spark of hope ignited within her. The journey ahead was uncertain, but she was determined to redefine her narrative and, in the process, rebuild the trust she had shattered. Back in the city, Hannah faced the daunting task of rebuilding her life. She began by reconnecting with her family, mending strained relationships with heartfelt apologies and a commitment to change. Embracing the support of those who were willing to give her a second chance, she moved forward with resilience. In her efforts to contribute positively, Hannah volunteered at local organizations, using her newfound skills to benefit the community. The media, initially skeptical, began to cover her story with a cautious optimism, highlighting her journey of redemption and the lessons she had learned. The marketing firm, guided by Richard's measured approach, allowed Hannah to take on small, supervised projects. Her dedication and commitment to change slowly gained the trust of her colleagues. As she demonstrated her value through hard work and humility, the skepticism that once surrounded her began to dissipate. Hannah's story became one of redemption and resilience, a testament to the capacity for change and growth. While the scars of her past actions remained, she emerged from the shadows of her mistakes as a transformed individual, determined to rebuild not just her career but her character. As time passed, Hannah's journey of redemption became an inspiring tale, shared in motivational talks and interviews. She used her experiences to advocate for honesty, integrity, and the importance of seeking support when facing challenges. Her story served as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the possibility of change and redemption could emerge, casting a light on a path toward a brighter future.